Buying a first display set is not about proving you are a serious builder. It is about choosing a model that looks good from across the room and still feels good to build close up. Many adults buy a popular set, finish it, and then realize it looks busy, fragile, or childish on a shelf. That first mistake creates friction, and the hobby stops. A clean display set does the opposite. It earns its space. It does not need a story to justify it. Think of the orchid and the starry night as two different kinds of display wins. One blends into a home and looks intentional. The other becomes a conversation piece and signals craft. In this guide, you will pick a display lane that matches your room, your patience, and your taste, so your first purchase feels calm and permanent. A good display start also protects your budget, because it keeps you from chasing upgrades to fix a poor first choice. The aim is simple: build once, place once, enjoy it daily without adjusting it. The display market is noisy. Boxes show dramatic scenes, minifigures, and features that are fun on a table but confusing on a shelf. Adult buyers usually have two hidden constraints. First is visual noise. A set can be impressive up close and still look cluttered from 3 meters away. Second is maintenance. Some models collect dust, feel delicate, or require constant straightening. When you only want display, those costs matter more than play features. This is why people end up with a set they respect but do not enjoy living with. The world map can dominate a wall in a good way, or it can become a large obligation if you do not want permanent wall placement. The succulents can look tasteful in almost any corner, or they can feel small if you wanted a statement piece. The goal is to stop guessing. You will use one rule to filter options, then choose from a short list that is designed for adult spaces. The guiding rule is simple. If you need to explain what it is, why it matters, or why you bought it, it is not a display first set for your home. A display first set reads clearly at a glance. It has a strong silhouette. It has a controlled color palette. It has a stable footprint. It looks complete from multiple angles, not just the front. This rule protects you from the most common regret. Regret comes from models that are technically cool, but visually messy. They look like a project, not an object. The Colosseum is a good reference point for the rule. You do not need to be a Roman history fan for it to look architectural and intentional. Its surface detail is subtle, and the shape is immediately readable. From here you will choose one of 5 display lanes. Each lane has different space needs, different build feel, and different long-term satisfaction for adults who value aesthetics. This lane is for adults who want something that fits on a bookshelf, side table, or small cabinet. The goal is polish, not scale. You want a model that can live near books and plants without fighting for attention. You also want a build that feels relaxing, with steady progress and low frustration. The orchid works because the shape is elegant and the colors stay controlled. It looks like decor, not a toy. The succulents work because they are modular. You can spread them out or cluster them. They stay stable and they do not create visual noise. If you prefer a warm, cozy look, the A-frame cabin gives you a small home scene that reads clearly and has texture without clutter. Choose this lane if you have limited display space, if you move items often, or if you want a set that will still look good even when your room changes. This lane is also the safest first purchase because it is easy to place and easy to keep clean. This lane is for adults who want maximum visual impact but do not want shelves filled with objects. Wall display turns Lego into a graphic element. The core trade-off is commitment. A wall piece needs a clear location and a stable mounting plan. If you like changing your space often, keep that in mind. The world map is the cleanest example of scale without clutter. From a distance it reads as a pattern. Up close it becomes detail. The starry night is different. It is not minimal. It is expressive. It looks like a crafted artwork, and it works best in a dedicated spot where it can be the focal point. Modern art is a flexible option when you want color blocks and you want to recompose the look over time. Choose this lane if you want your display to feel intentional and gallery-like. It is also the best lane for small apartments because it frees floor and shelf space while still giving you a serious presence in the room. This lane is for adults who like real-world forms. The appeal is clarity. Landmarks have silhouettes that read instantly. That makes them strong display pieces even for visitors who do not care about Lego. The Great Pyramid of Giza is a great first landmark because it is low and stable. It fits on a sideboard and it does not feel fragile. It also has a calm color palette. The Colosseum is more demanding in time and surface repetition, but the final look is refined and neutral. It fits many interior styles. The Eiffel Tower is the statement option. It is tall, it needs vertical clearance, and it changes the room. It is not a casual display. It is a dedicated object. Choose this lane if you care about realism, and if you want your display to communicate taste rather than fandom. It is the best lane for adults who want the hobby to blend into a home instead of becoming a themed corner. This lane is for adults who want motion or mechanical presence, but still want a clean display. The key is to pick motion that looks intentional, not motion that adds visual chaos. The motorized lighthouse works because the motion supports the display. Light and rotation make the model feel like a real object, and the base looks like a curated scene. The loop coaster is a different kind of kinetic display. It is a playful engineering sculpture. It needs space, and it draws attention, so it works best where you want energy in the room. The Titanic is not kinetic, but it belongs in this lane because it has a long, calm silhouette that dominates a surface. It is a centerpiece for adults who like scale and presence. Choose this lane if you want your display to feel dynamic, if you enjoy mechanisms, or if you want a model that guests notice immediately without needing context. Just be honest about space and cleaning, because these sets ask for dedicated placement. This lane is for adults who like detail and atmosphere. These sets feel like mini dioramas that still read cleanly from a distance. The silhouette is clear, but the surface rewards slow looking. The boutique hotel is a strong adult display because it looks like a real building facade. It has symmetry and structure. It fits well with books, art, and decor. The medieval blacksmith is warmer and more story-driven, but it still works as display because the palette and shape feel crafted, not loud. It looks like a handmade object. The A-frame cabin belongs here too when you want a natural, cozy feel and a compact footprint. Choose this lane if you want to feel proud of the build when you walk past it daily. It is also a good lane if you plan to add more sets later, because these models create a coherent shelf language. They look intentional together, even if they come from different themes. When you only want display, the biggest trap is buying complexity that does not translate into beauty. Some sets are popular because they are intense to build, not because they live well in a room. Avoid models that rely on vehicles, characters, or action scenes if you do not want a themed space. They often look busy and they age poorly in adult interiors. Also avoid your dream flagship if you cannot give it the space it needs. A tall landmark like the Eiffel Tower can feel stressful if it is squeezed between shelves. A long model like the Titanic can become a dust magnet if it sits where you cannot reach it easily. A large kinetic build like the loop coaster can look messy if it is placed in a tight corner. The safer move is to start with a lane that matches your space first, then upgrade. Display satisfaction comes from placement and proportion, not from having the biggest box on day one. If you want one safest choice that works for most adults, start with the Orchid. It looks intentional in almost any room. It is easy to place. It is easy to keep clean. The build is calm and the result feels like decor. If you want your display to be more expressive and you have a dedicated spot, choose the Starry Night. It becomes a focal point and it signals craft. If you want a neutral architectural object and you have patience for a longer build, choose the Colosseum. It feels like a sculpture and it blends into modern interiors. After you finish your first display set, do one simple upgrade step. Notice what you liked most. If you liked calm placement, move toward landmarks. If you liked bold visuals, move toward wall art. If you liked texture and atmosphere, move toward shelf classics. This is how you build a display collection without buying random boxes that do not fit your home. The next step is to lock your lane and choose your second set using the same rule. Keep your display language consistent. Your room will look curated instead of crowded. If you started with the Orchid, the clean next move is to add another small polished piece like the succulents, then decide if you want to scale up. If you started with wall art, plan the wall first and treat it like framing. If you started with a landmark, keep the color palette calm so the display stays adult. On the channel, the next long guide removes the biggest barrier adults feel when starting the hobby. It helps you decide if Lego fits your lifestyle, your time, and your expectations. Then you can commit with confidence and build a collection that stays enjoyable for years. Keep the habit simple. One set earns its place before you add the next one. That rhythm keeps the hobby calm and keeps your shelves intentional.